All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 5th, 2026. My name, Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following, liking, and leaving kind comments and subscribing to my content. I like that. Special shout out Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content, getting the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you so much. That doesn't go unnoticed. Appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at a little summary of what happened yesterday in the markets. Market's starting to get bullish again. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 682.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. IWM, SPY, both made higher highs, higher lows, closing inside bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap under the falling 17. QQQ, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap and over the falling 17. FNGU made higher low, higher high, closing over bullish trap over the falling 17. Where were you 2 months ago? FNGU. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and 10-minute bullish consolidation. Gold, higher low, higher high, closing under a bullish trap but over the flat 17. Silver, higher high, higher low, closing under bearish trap and under the flat 17. USO inside day, just made a 6-year high day before, closing under a bullish trap. No, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17. UNG made a lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap and under the flat 17 or the falling 17. US index, U.S. dollar index, still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 98.69 area. SPY max pain for today is 685 with a put-to-call ratio of about 1.6 puts for each call that expires today. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. Main event this week, another main event, AVGO reported last night. They did well. Is the employment situation at 8:30 on Friday. Okay, so that'll be a big-time market mover. If this is your first time seeing this, all right, right here, first time seeing this, these are all in bullish daily uptrends over the 17. These are all in bearish daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. Okay, so over the 17 EMA, over the 17 EMA. Now, there's some of them have a little star. If they got a little star, they're building out a bull flag on the bull side. All right, if they got a little star on the bear side, they're building out a bear flag. Okay, so I call this a launch pad to launch higher, a platform to dive lower. Okay, so uptrends, downtrends. All right, let's take a look at the markets. Start off with SPY. Let's drill down, start on the 10-minute. So you can see we got, a little downtrend going on here, but all in all, price moved up over to the right. I'm going to call it bullish consolidation, starting a little 10-minute downtrend. Maybe it is the beginning of a pullback. We'll see. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. I'm going to call it bullish consolidation. Okay, we're leaning up against that pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. So that's on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. So on the 2-hour, we got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8 EMA right here and over the 17. Okay, so you can see we got the mouth is open and the 3 is up above the 8. So we got uptrend on the 2-hour chart. Let's take a look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, we're going a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the flat 17, up at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, we're still bullish because we're in the upper third. Okay, still bullish in the upper third, but we keep making lower highs and lower lows, so we're in a downtrend. Okay, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Bullish and in an uptrend. You can see price. Here's the April low right here. This was origin of our move. Up and over to the right. Okay, so bullish, top of quadrant 4. Bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart. Okay, so here's our April low. Moves up and over to the right. See, we haven't broken any of these lows that poke through the bottom of the 17. So monthly, also bullish and in an uptrend. So you can see on the bigger time frames, we're still bullish, still in an uptrend. All right, on SPY. QQQ, probably going to have the same thing. Okay, let's take a look top from the bottom up. Okay, 10-minute downtrend right there on QQQ, but all in all, up and over to the right. Call it bullish consolidation, or you call it the beginning of a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close yesterday. On the 2-hour chart, same as SPY, we got the sticks and the 3 are riding up over the 8. Okay, so we got ourselves a 2-hour uptrend with 10-minute bullish consolidation coming into the close. Okay, so that was QQQ. All right, on the daily chart, we've got, again, a higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap, over the 17, over the uptrend line. You can see the green line right there. That's our support line, over the uptrend line, but under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right up there. We're in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's still bullish. Okay, but we keep making lower highs and lower lows. So we're still in a downtrend on QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the all-time high anchored VWAP, middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, got a lower high, got a lower low, so we're in a downtrend on IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. So that's bullish and in a downtrend on IWM. Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the pink line. Is the falling 17, or the flat, the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Under the 17, we keep making, there's a high, there's a lower high, there's a lower low. So we're in a downtrend, but we're in the upper third, so we're bullish, but in a downtrend on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at Stinker. Okay, Stinker, higher low, higher high, closing over a falling 17, closing over a bullish trap, closing under all-time high anchored VWAP, closing under all-time low anchored VWAP, closing under the midpoint right here. All right, we have not made a higher high. We're not in the lower third. We're not in the upper third. Neutral, so then we're in the neutral ground. So this is neutral, all right, but still in a downtrend. Call it a dysfunctional downtrend in that it's not moving down, it's moving up or over to the right. So there's Stinker on the daily chart, still neutral, all right, and in a dysfunctional downtrend until they make a higher high. So there's FNGU, all right. Let's take a look at the game plans. All right, let's drill down to 15-minute chart. Let's open these up a little bit. Okay, so the game plan, pivot, 682.75. You can see we're consolidation, all right, and then upper consolidation right here. So right in between the middle there, that's going to be my pivot. Okay, above it, I'm a bull. Below it, going to be a bear. Okay, so SPY is green erases red entry over 687. That would be the highs of yesterday. Okay, underneath the bottom of this consolidation, 679.20. We break through that. We have a chance of fluttering lower all the way back down to check out these lows. So red erases green underneath 679.20. Okay, I like Friday options on the multiple of 5. Today's Thursday, so just happens to be that they're going to be 1 DTE and 8 DTE, okay? On Friday, it'll change, okay? There'll be 7 DTEs and 14 DTEs on the front when we get to Friday, okay? But today's Thursday. But mainly, it's all about the Friday options on the multiple of 5, and that's specifically for the open interest. All right? I like a lot of open interest because that means a higher chance that I'm going to have a tight bid-ask spread, and I'm going to have less slippage when I get stopped out. Okay, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I like it because they carry less risk. All right, but let me just say it's a double-edged sword. They don't carry, they don't have the performance that an in-the-money option will have. Okay, so when you got an in-the-money option, you get more performance on the in-the-money. Now you will also pay more for it, but you also have a lot more to lose if it goes against you. All right, so for that reason, I choose the out-of-the-money options. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, and I look for 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. So I trade them both. If a 10-minute uptrend were to manifest down here, I would not be opposed to trading it. I'd like to see it break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle prior, to me jumping in. All right, same with the bearish. All right, if a 10-minute downtrend were to manifest up here, long before the red erases green entry, I'd like to see it break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle, all right, for an entry into a downtrend down here to come back down. Okay, so there's the SPY game plan. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, QQQ pivot 606.40. Okay, so I got consolidation up here, consolidation right here, under 592. That's my bearish entry. Pivot 606.40, above it bullish, below it bearish. Green erases red over 612.90. That would be the highs of yesterday. Again, Friday options on the multiple of 5 specifically for the open interest, the tight bid-ask spread. I like $2 to $15 out of the money options. All right, they tend to offer less risk, and they're a lot cheaper. My favorite price point for options is especially daily options on indices. I like them to be around 30 cents to $1.20. Any more than that, then they tie up too much of my capital. Okay, so I only trade 10% of my capital over here. So only 10% of that. My daily goal is always 1%. My max risk is always 10%. Okay, daily goal 1%, max risk 10%. Okay, so have that lined up every day so I know what that is. So there's QQQ. There's the game plan for QQQ. Let's go take a look at daily charts, and we'll take a look at silver and gold, SLV. All right, so silver and gold, we've got a higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap, under the flat 17. Okay, and we are no longer in the upper third, so we're neutral. All right, and we have a downtrend. See, there's a low, a high, and a lower low. So we're in a downtrend on silver, neutral, and in a downtrend on silver on the daily chart. Gold's got a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bullish trap, but over the flat 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Up there in the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish on gold, but currently in an uptrend on gold. See, they got a high right here, and they made a higher high. So they got a high, a low, and a higher high. So that puts them in an uptrend, and they're in the top of. Here's the 2022 origin of the move right back here. Okay, so they're in the middle of quadrant 4 up here, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at USO. Now USO, not yesterday, but the day before, made a 6-year high. Higher low, higher high for yesterday's candle, all closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, up here at the top of quadrant 4. Obviously, that's bullish and in an uptrend. UNG, lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, under the falling 17, under the 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, little 12-month high anchored VWAP. All the way down here in the bottom of quadrant 1, that is the all-time low right there. That valley between these two peaks right here is an all-time low. We are bearish and still in a downtrend. We have not made any higher highs. So UNG still bearish and in a downtrend. Let's take a look at technicals. T2101. Market participation just keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. Okay, so you can see we dipped yesterday, little dip yesterday, and market participation increased. Not liking that. And then as we rallied higher, we lost participation. Okay, based on this 15-minute chart here of T2101. This is absolute market breadth, aka participation. All right, so not liking that. We keep getting thinner and thinner. We get any lower here, we're going to be in the reversal area. Okay, so we'll see what happens. That's T2101. Let's take a look at T2122, which is going to surprise you. We're in the buy zone. Look at this. We went airborne all the way over the seller's chop zone, the buyer's chop zone, the midpoint, all the way up to the buy zone. Beautiful rip yesterday, T2122. That's bullish up there. And look at the consolidation, also making a higher high. We haven't been up here since, well, we haven't been up here since this day right here, January 20th and January 18th. So it's been a while since we've been up there because we're on the 5th of March. Okay, so nice work on the bulls yesterday, bringing us all the way up to the buy zone. Okay, so I like that. Hopefully they can hold this upper area. We'll see what happens. Right now, we're dipping a little bit in the pre-market. That's T2122. T2123. 3 days ago, we made new all-time highs. And that's it right there. Yesterday, you can see we looks like we gapped up. Nope, we didn't gap up. Okay, so price action. We have a high. Well, first we have a low. We got a higher low. As you can see, it dips below the 17. Okay, we've got a high. And you can see we've got a higher high right there. Okay, so that's an uptrend. We're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's where I want to be if I'm a bull. Remember, this is the all-time high right up there on the 15-minute chart. This is bullish and in an uptrend on the 15. All right, let's look at the 3-bar chart. Okay, so this was the all-time high. And then 2025 low in April. All right, that was a pullback to make a higher low. From that higher low, we ripped all the way up here, made a new all-time high. That was the all-time high, made a higher low. Then we ripped, made a new all-time high. Okay, then came along, then inflate. That was all due to inflation. But they weren't done yet. And then they came back, made another higher low right here, and then ripped to new all-time highs up here. Now I just want to show you the Fibonacci level. All right, I'm going to crank it up a little bit. All right, so you can see where we're at. So we got the 1272 right up here. We are very close to the reversal 1272. Just want to point that out. Okay, and we're at all-time highs. Not to say that can't continue on forever and forever, but that's really not likely, okay? I think we are headed for a pullback soon. A pullback would be healthy. Either that or create some wide range consolidation. So there's the 1272. Now I'm going to pin this, okay, up over here to this pullback. And you can see we are exactly at the 1618 right there, okay? That's 161%.8. All right, so both right there. So we could be looking at a market rollover soon. I don't know. We're still bullish, hanging out at the top. Maybe they got another move in them to get up to maybe this 200%. We'll see. All right, they are bull flagging up there. They don't seem to want to give it up. I like the idea that they're holding that higher ground. So I'm going to take this off. Actually, I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit. All right, and I'm going to back out. Okay, that's our April low, and that's our all-time high. That's T21.23, the cumulative 4-week new high, new low ratio right there. Okay, let's take a look at Stinker on the 15. Stinker, remember, is bullish on the daily. Stinker on the 15, you've got, well, from the day before, we've got highs. And we made higher highs, okay, and we've got lows, made higher lows. So currently in an uptrend, all right, on the 15-minute for Stinker. So Stinker getting bullish on the 15. Finally, on top of this, hooking 200 SMA, still underneath the falling all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, from the perspective of this low, it's looking fantastic. Okay, we're up in quadrant 4. That'd be bullish up there. But if we take into account the whole picture, okay, you can see we're still in the lower third. That'd be bearish. All right, so we'll see how far they want to go. That 15-minute uptrend is alive. Let them take it for however high they want to take it. Okay, so that's Stinker on the 15. They'll take that off. U.S. dollar index. Okay, so I'm going to back out. Here's a 2025 high. We come down, produce a bear flag. Down and over to the right. Okay, so for the candles, you can see we got a low. We made a higher low. We have a high. We made a higher high. So we're in a daily uptrend within the bear flag. Okay, in order to bust up the bear flag, they need to break or breach close candles, consolidate over this top line right here, which was once major support, all right, for 2 or 3 years. This was major support. So they need to bust out of the top of the flag up here, all right, in order to break this bear flag up. Otherwise, we linger in here too long, who knows? We could come tumbling down. We'll see. This is the U.S. dollar index. Now, we like a weak dollar. That usually equates to a weak dollar. Usually means we're going to get more business when we sell to foreign countries, all right? Because of the conversion rate, we want it to be cheap. That way, our goods and services are more competitive. With other nations selling the same goods and services. All right, so we like a weak dollar. Now, as a consumer, it sucks, but as investors, it gives you inflation, which you can see the new market highs that we've attained due to the inflation that we just incurred. All right, so there's the U.S. dollar index. Let's take a look at, what do I want to do next? Let's go take a look at the economic package. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm probably not. Max Payne for today, okay, that's March 5th, 685, and 1.6 puts for each call that expires today. And this is for the SPY, all right? And let's take a look at economic calendar for today. Jobless claims at 8:30. Productivity and cost, that's a delayed report. 8:30, import-export prices, another delayed report. 8:30, we got a natural gas inventory report. At 10:30, tomorrow we've got a main event. This is a market mover, is the employment situation at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Okay, so you might want to be hedged for that. That will move the markets sometimes. All right, so we got retail sales, another delayed report tomorrow. That's at 8:30. Business inventories, that's another delayed report, 10 o'clock. Got a rig count at 1. They finally put that back on there. I said it was missing. I guess they heard me because now they got it back on there. Consumer credit at 1 also. All right, so that happens all tomorrow. Okay, volatility, possible volatility at 8:30 tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at earnings. Earnings were AVGO. That was about the big market mover for this week. that was one of the tip of the spear for the AI boom that we're in. Not in a bubble yet, just in a boom. All right, you can see Broadcom $1.5 trillion. That's a lot of money. Okay, so we'll go over here and we'll look at Broadcom, see if they're up or if they're down. AVGO. I heard that they beat on earnings. So let's go take a look in the pre-market. Make sure I got the right one. Yes, we do. Okay, so you can see they're up in the pre-market, up about $15 right there. So nice work for AVGO. That'd be Broadcom. Again, another big component of the tip of the spear when it comes to AI, the AI boom that we're currently in. All right, let's take a look at what we got for earnings today. Let me drag this back over. See if it's going to drag over. Doesn't want to drag over. Are you kidding me? All right, for earnings. Let's blow this up. Okay, today we're going to get Costco after the close. It's about $500 billion, $447 billion. All right, so that's a lot of market cap. It's not going to be a market mover. Remember, technology is going to be your headliner. The markets are going to move when big tech moves. All right, they're pretty much going to, because technology is the future. Alabama is supposed to report sometime today. It's about $1/3 trillion. Okay, Petro Brazil supposed to report tonight, about $109 billion. Actually, they got another one, an A and a B, so they got another 109. So that's about $218 billion. Going to report tonight on Petro Brazil. Canadian Natural Resources, $91 billion. Okay, the headliner was AVGO. Okay, will the markets move on Costco? Probably not. All right, they're going to continue with whatever trend they're currently doing. Probably not going to rally over Costco earnings. All right, I don't see that happening at all. It's just retail. Market likes to rally on tech. Okay, when tech is on fire, that's what they like to rally on. Okay, so there's earnings. Let's take a look at Friday. Okay, nothing but familiar names here. Okay, nothing that's going to move the markets, just some familiar names that are going to report. Okay, that's it for me for this morning. I will see you all in about 30 minutes, or actually 45 minutes, and we'll open up the markets together, and we'll see. Oh, let's take a look at the markets. All right, it's a little early, okay? A lot of times I kind of set up what's going on. We have a downtrend. I'm looking for to trade the continuation of the 10-minute downtrend that we're currently in. All right, so that's looks like an exhaustion candle here. All right, and so in a downtrend, maybe this double bottoms. All right, and comes back up. We left off yesterday 2-hour uptrend and 10-minute bullish consolidation. Currently in a 10-minute downtrend. All right, so I'm looking to trade a continuation of that 10-minute downtrend down to the pivot. All right, if it gets below the pivot and holds that area, I'll jump back in and continue to trade it further south. All right, but all in all, that was a big bullish move yesterday and the day before, moving up and now holding that higher ground up there and moving to the right. All right, so looking to trade a continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. Now, things could change. All right, we got 60 minutes between now and then. This could be an uptrend by then. All right, so we'll probably be looking at trading a breakout of the opening range. All right, so like over this line, going to be a bull. Underneath this low right here, probably going to be a bear. If they get underneath my pivot, all right, and consolidate, probably going to be a bear underneath there. They're getting back to the pivot. I would expect probably $1.50, $1.75 bounce off the pivot area. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's my plan for SPY this morning. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes here. 40 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Yes, I did. I did cover gold and silver. Sharon asked if I covered gold and silver. I'll go back over them just to make sure. Okay, so here's silver. Okay, silver still in this consolidation area. And I'm going to go back to yesterday's candle. Okay, so higher low, higher high, closing under bearish trap, under the flat 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Silver currently neutral and in a downtrend because they made this low yesterday, day before. But if they can hold this area, it looks interesting. If they get below this, I don't think I want to be a part of it. If they get below that, see that doji right there? If they break that tail, I don't think I want to be a part of silver. All right, underneath that 71.64 area. Okay, now for gold is bullish and in an uptrend. Silver is neutral and in a downtrend, but really it's just a bear flag right here. Okay, so here's gold. And gold's higher low, higher high, closing under a bullish trap, but over the flat 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. And a little bit different on gold. There's a high, there's a low. They made a higher high right there. So they're bullish, all right, because they're in the upper third and in an uptrend right there on gold. You got it. All right. See you guys a little bit. All right. We'll be on. See what the market's going to do this morning.